Now for Psalm 19, to the chief musician, a psalm of David. The heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament showeth his handiwork. Now, according to Cambridge, I really like their notes on this. The glory of God is the unique majesty of his being, as it is revealed to man, that manifestation of his deity which the creature should recognize with reverent adoration. All creation is a revelation of God, but the heavens in their vastness, splendor, order, and mystery are the most impressive reflection of his greatness and majesty. The simplest of observers can read the message, but how much more emphatic and significant has it become through the discoveries of modern astronomy? Back in the days of David, as far as we know, he only saw those things in which you see stepping out on your back porch late at night, but now we see far more than that. And it's just so baffling of a situation to be in, that of atheism. An atheist asked me one time many years ago, he said, if you show me proof of God, I'll believe in him. And I looked out the window and I said, the tree out there, the grass, the blue sky. I mean, I mean, the creation is pointing to, it just screams out a creator right in front of them, their very breath. And this is why it says, the fool hath said in his heart, there is no God. Verse 2, day unto day uttereth speech, and night unto night showeth knowledge. The heavens, there is no speech nor language where their voice is not heard. Their line, or horizon, is gone out through all the earth, and their words to the end of the world. In them hath he set a tabernacle for the sun, which is really what Paul the Apostle was alluding to in Romans 1. He says that creation itself testifies of God. If you want a sermon that everyone hears, creation is that sermon. And he says you'll be rendered without excuse on that day, because everyone gets preached this, which is as a bridegroom coming out of his chamber, the sun, and rejoiceth as a strong man to run a race. His going forth is from the end of the heaven, and his circuit unto the ends of it, and there is nothing hid from the heat thereof. So now we see a shift in narrative. David, he's just in amazement about the sun, moon, and stars, these heavenly bodies, and how powerful God is. Once again, with our knowledge, it just leaves us in awe. But now we suddenly see a shift in narrative a little bit. The law of the Lord is perfect, converting the soul. The testimony of the Lord is sure, making wise the simple. Now what we see David doing at this point is he ceases from looking at all of creation, and then he looks to the law, or as we would see it, as the Bible. And he's marveling more so in the scripture, it seems. And this really goes to what Simon Peter says in his second letter. And this voice which came from heaven we heard when we were with him in the Holy Mount. Now, much like David, there was this sign, this very obvious sign of God himself, because he's going back to whenever the Father spoke to the Son in front of Peter, James, and John on the Mount of Transfiguration. He says, we heard from heaven that this is my beloved Son in whom I am well pleased. Now that's easily probably the best sign that one could ever receive, right? But then Simon Peter goes on with the next verse and he says, we have also a more sure word of prophecy. He says, yes, we receive the greatest of signs, but with prophecy, just like David is talking about with the law, he says we have the Bible, we have God predicting the future in the Bible, prophecy. Whereunto ye do well that ye take heed, as unto a light that shineth in a dark place, until the day dawn and the day star arise in your hearts. It really astounds me how often people neglect the word. So my friends, yes, even the atheist can look out at creation and say, maybe there's a God. Maybe there's someone in whom created all of this. It's very, very stupid of someone to at least not kind of reckon on that. But if you really want to get to know the Creator, like David is going on and like Simon Peter was alluding to, if you really want to get to know Him, we have the Bible. Get to know Him. It's right before you. The statutes of the Lord are right, rejoicing the heart. The commandment of the Lord is pure, enlightening the eyes. The fear of the Lord is clean, enduring forever. The judgments of the Lord are true and righteous altogether. More to be desired are they than gold, yea, than much fine gold, sweeter also than honey and the honeycomb. It's kind of shocking how everyone, if you offer them $100, oh man, they'd swallow that up, but you give them a Bible, something that's eternally precious, literally eternally precious, better than any amount of money. Okay, I'll put it on my nightstand or something, and then it goes into a drawer and then collects dust and then someone else picks it up 50 years later, Verse 11, moreover, by them is thy servant warned, and in keeping of them there is great reward. Who can understand his errors? Cleanse thou me from secret faults. Keep back thy servant also from presumptuous sins. Let them not have dominion over me. Then shall I be upright, and I shall be innocent from the great transgressions. Now, it's very appropriate to quote Pulpit at this point regarding what David is saying right here. A consideration of the law, or of the Bible, as we would know it once again. A consideration of the Bible cannot but raise the thought of transgression. Man had not known sin but by the law, Romans 7:7. Christopher Hitchens, the notorious atheist when he was still alive, but Christopher Hitchens, he would often mock at this concept. He said, you mean to tell me that my people, because he was a Jew, he said, you mean to tell me that my people thought that it was okay to rape and murder and steal and kill until they got to the base of Mount Sinai? No, it's written in every man's heart. You just know that stuff. But it was set in stone that God hates these things then. Everyone just knows it in their heart not to, do these evil acts. But now we read it before our eyes. God hates those things since Mount Sinai. Man had not known sin, that is, transgression against God, not just an evil act. Everyone knows, once again, that those things are evil. But man had not known that there were actual transgressions against God, but by the Bible. And he cannot contemplate the law without being reminded of possible disobedience to it. But also notice what David is saying. The psalmist's thoughts are led in this direction, and he ends with an earnest prayer against secret sins in verse 12, against presumptuous sins in the next verse, and against sins of word and thought addressed to God, his strength, or his rock and his redeemer. And I really believe that this is why David was a man after God's own heart, because he so hated sin. He so despised it whenever it was before his face, whenever he was so well aware of it and he wasn't blinded by lust Let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in thy sight, O Lord, my strength and my redeemer.